Chapter 2, Section 2, Supervised Learning. Supervised learning uses labeled data. So, this section first explains what labeled data and unlabeled data is. Next, I will explain what supervised learning is. Then, I will explain two types of supervised learning: classification and regression. To understand the different types of machine learning, we first need to understand the concept of labels. A label indicates the category or a number you want to predict using a machine learning model. For example, when building a model to predict a company's sales, the labels are the variables that record sales. In the case of a model that determines whether the animal in a photo is a cat or a dog, the labels are the type of animal, cat or dog. In other words, this information indicates the correct answer or target value of the predictive model. Dataset can be classified into labeled and unlabeled data based on whether it contains a label or not. Labeled data is data in which the dataset contains a variable that is the target of the prediction and variables that are useful for the prediction. The variables to be predicted is the label. Variables that are useful for prediction are called features, also called attributes. Unlabeled data, on the other hand, is data that does not contain a label that is the target value or the correct answer. In unlabeled data, all variables are called features or attributes. This difference between labeled and unlabeled data is essential to understand the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. In supervised learning, the features that are used for prediction in a prediction model are called input variables, predictor variables, or independent variables. Among the labels, those used as the prediction target in the prediction model are called output variables, or outcome variables, target variables, or dependent variables. In other words, in supervised learning, the labels that are the target of the prediction are used as target variables, and some of the features are put into the model as predictor variables. Supervised learning is a technique for predicting the value or category of an output variable based on the value of predictor variables. The output variables are the labels. Thus, supervised learning is machine learning using labeled data. In this method, the range of possible values or categories for the output variable is already known based on historical data. For new data, only the values of the predictor variables are known, and the specific outcome of the output variable is not yet known. There are two types of supervised learning: classification and regression. Classification is used when the target variable is a category, while regression is used when the target variable is a continuous number. Regardless of whether the target variable is a category or a number, in order to use supervised learning, it is necessary to predefine what the target variable is and the range of possible values or categories for the target variable. In the case of classification, it is necessary to know in advance what categories consist of the target variable. For example, to build a supervised learning model to classify animal pictures, the animal categories such as cat, dog, bird, and so on must be predefined. unknown animal categories cannot be generated by supervised learning. In the case of regression, the range of target values can be limited or unlimited. That is, the range of target values can be as limited as between 1 and 100, or as unlimited as any value. However, what we predict and how we measure it must be defined beforehand. The purpose of classification is to predict or estimate which of the predetermined categories an individual observation belongs to. These categories are also called classes. The task of making such predictions and estimates is called a classification problem, and the machine learning models developed to solve a classification problem is called a classification model. For example, estimating whether an email is spam or not spam is a classification problem. In this case, the machine learning model estimates which of the two categories, spam or not spam, the newly received emails falls into. As another example, the problem of estimating whether the animal in the photo is a dog, cat, or bird is also a classification problem. In this case, the classification model estimates which of these three categories the animal in the photo is. Regression aims to predict some continuous numbers based on the data of predictor variables. The target variable can be a value within a specific range or any value. The task of making such predictions and estimates is called a regression problem. A machine learning model developed to solve a regression problem is called a regression model. An example of a regression problem is predicting the house price based on information such as the size and the location of the house. The house price is expressed as an integer in the smallest monetary unit, but can be regarded as a continuous number. Another example is predicting the maximum temperature for the next day based on weather data for a given year. In classification, the category will be the correct answer, whereas in regression, the specific number will be the correct answer. Thank you for watching. Please thumbs up and subscribe to my channel.